All right, we're looking at 6.3 similar polygons. We're going to identify and use similar polygons. When there is a correspondence between two polygons such that their corresponding angles are congruent and the lengths of the corresponding sides are proportional, the two polygons are called similar polygons. If two polygons are similar, then the ratio of the lengths of the two corresponding sides is called the scale factor. Theorem 6.1, you might want this for your themes and postulate sheet. If two polygons are similar, then the ratio of their perimeter is equal to the ratio of their corresponding sides. Okay, so we're not going to do all of these because it's a little repetitive, but we're looking at A. Two polygons are similar. List all the pairs of congruent angles, rate the ratios of the corresponding sides. Okay, so this is just angle A is congruent to angle L. Angle C is congruent to angle N. You kind of have to switch it in your head. Angle B is congruent to angle M. That's it. Did I get N and M mixed up? Yeah. This would be angle M, and this would be angle N. Okay, now we've got to write ratios to sides. I'm going to do the big one over the little one. It doesn't matter if you do the little one over the big one as long as all the little ones are then on top. So we're going to have 3 of these, and they're all proportional to each other. So AC is proportional to LM, and AB is LN, and so CB is what? NM or MN, whichever. Are we good? Do I need to do the others?
No.
Let's look at the ones below because that's where you'll be saying more.
That's what we're going to be doing on that homework.
That's part of it. Okay. Example 2, comparing similar polygons. We want to see if they're similar. So the first thing I'm going to do is say, okay, I know this angle is congruent to this angle. I know they're both right triangles, so these are congruent. And if 2 out of the 3 are congruent, then the third one has to be. Okay, so now I have to see if their sides are proportional. So I'm going to say AB. What side is corresponding to AB? XY. So that's 3. Is that equal to BC is 12, and what's corresponding to BC? XZ, which is 4. So they have the same ratio. 9 over 3 can reduce to 3 over 1, right? 12 over 4 reduces to 3 over 1. So let's just check the last side. If we've got 15, we've got over 5. Does that reduce to 3 over 1?
Yes.
Okay, so they're proportional, so we have to write a similarity statement. So we say triangle ABC is similar. Now similar goes like this. You know, congruent would have the equal sign under it. The similar sign is just like the top of the congruent sign. Okay? And then we have to list them in the same order. So what is corresponding to AB? That would be YX. So we have to list it YXZ. If we don't list them in the same order, it won't make sense.
So you have to make sure that
The congruent angles line up with each other. A goes with Y, B goes with X, C goes with Z in the same order.
Because 9 or 3 is 1.
Yes. Yeah. Okay, let's do the next one. Excuse me? Yes. You will get marked out. Okay, do they have all the corresponding angles? Are they congruent? Yeah. Okay, so now we have to see if the sides are proportional. So I'm going to do AB first. What is the corresponding side for AB? TQ, which is 6. And we have to see if that's the same as AD, which is 10. And what lines up with AD? TS, which is 8. So that gives us 4/3. Is that corresponding to 5/4?
No.
No, so they are not similar.
I just put like a big X in.
Yeah. 15. Okay. Ready to turn the page? Yeah. Okay, this one on your paper, it says trapezoid THY TW is similar to trapezoid A, B, C, D. It gives us some numbers for them, and then we've got to answer all of these questions. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to list all the pairs of congruent angles and write a similarity of proportionality statement.
Shouldn't that be 23?
Did I write 25? It should be 23. Thank you. So angle T is congruent to what angle? A. Angle U is congruent to what angle? Good. Angle V is congruent to what angle?
C.
And then angle W is congruent to what angle? Okay. So now we have to set up proportionality. So do you want to do big over little or little over big? Okay, so big over little, so that's the TU-VW. We've got one side is 15. So that's TU is 15. What's the corresponding side to TU? AB, which is 9. Can we reduce that? What would it be?
5/3.
5/3. That is the scale factor. Okay. Yes?
Did you just pick any two numbers?
I picked two numbers that were already given, right? I didn't pick WV and DC because there's no number for DC. I didn't pick TW and AD because there's a number for AD but not for TW. Does that make sense?
It would be the same if we did
Yes, it would be.
9/15.
No, you get 3/5. So if I'm going from little to big, right, I would take the little one and I would times it by 5/3 and I would get the big one.
So if no matter what we did, if we did it.
If you did it the other way, it's fine. Unless I said specifically what is this one to this one. Okay, so we found the scale factor, that's 5/3. We found the scale factor from, okay, that's what the next question is answering. It wants the scale factor from the little one to the big one. So that would be 3/5, right? From the big one to the little one would be 5/3. See how the scale factor changes depending on which direction you're going? Little to big versus big to little. Okay, what would the length of TW be? Okay, let's set up the scale factor. We know the scale factor is, let's use 5/3 because that's what we found. So that means big's on top, little's on the bottom. So what is, we don't know the length of TW, so we're going to call that X, not appropriate, Chris. All right, and what is the corresponding side for TW? 6 AD. So then we cross multiply, and we get 30 equals 3x, so we're going to get x equals
10.
10. So that is the length of TW. What would the measure of TUV be?
Can we do it on our own?
Okay, this is a little confusing, so I want to explain this part. All right, there will be plenty to do on your own, I promise. See how this is 70%, 70 degrees? 10%. The ones next to it have to add up to 180. So what's 70 minus 180? 110. So we know that on the little trapezoid, this is 110, and the angles have to be congruent. So on the big trapezoid, TUV has to be 110 degrees. But I don't think you knew that those had to be supplementary.
No trapezoid, like those ships are essentially
In the inside, yes.
Will we ever have to figure out the total inside?
All quadrilaterals add up to be 360 on the inside. Because it's twice 180, right? And two triangles make a rectangle. Huh? Get out of the way. Okay, you guys almost ready? And we'll switch to the next page. This plus this is 180, right? And I know that this has to be the same as this. The angles have to be. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's turn it over. Two polygons are similar. We want to find the value for X and Y. So we're looking at these two polygons. The first thing we want to do is see if they have any numbers, which are just numbers and no letters, and then we'll set up a scale factor. So right here I've got AB is 12. Is there anything on the other trapezoid?
X.
It is set up the same way the corresponding is 4.
4.
So 12 over 4 reduces to what?
3.
3 over 1. So let's find x. We're going to take the big one, which is 5, over the little one, which is x. Cross multiply. X equals 5/3. We can just leave it like that. I don't care if it's in decimal form or whatever. Let's find y. We've got 3 over 1. The big one is y minus 1. What would the little one be? 3?
3, yes. Yeah.
3. So we get 9 equals y minus 1. So 10 equals y. You want to try the next one on your own?
Why sure, Miss Murphy?
Okay. So set up the scale factor.
5 over 1. X equals 5 over 1.
3. We'll repeat what I said. So when I'm walking around, some people are having trouble setting these up. Okay. Which sides of the triangle have a number and no letter? Let's look at that. Which ones? So what about for L and M, all of them, right?
Yeah.
So let's look at A, B, C. Which side doesn't have a letter?
AC and BC.
B, C has X.
A, B.
AB.
A, B has 10. Okay, so what corresponds with the other triangle? What side
5.
matches that?
5.
5. Okay, so I'm going to put 5 over 10, and we reduce that to 1/2. That's our scale factor. Okay? So we set up 1/2 equals, let's find the other ones now.
13.
So I'm going to take, say it again,
13
13.
over y plus 20.
Okay, over y plus 20. And I get y plus 20 equals 26. And so y equals 6. And I'm in like
Wait,
half the
equals
class.
26.
And this is because we're talking from little to
2
big,
times
right?
30.
Because we're
15.
talking
2 times 30. 2 times
Yeah.
13 to get 26.
They would just be upside down. Both those fractions would be upside down.
Yeah, I think it's like the other way.
Did you get the same
13
answer?
Yeah.
times
Good.
2 is 26. Subtract 20.
I cross multiply. Michaela, I cross multiply. 2 times 13 is 26. And then 1 times y plus 20 is y plus 20. And then I subtracted 20 from both sides.
Are you going to be nice to me?
Ladies and gentlemen, let's figure out the x part. Okay, so I'm going to use 1 over 2 again. I was asked, do we have to reduce it? The answer is no. It's just going to give you smaller numbers, which might be easier to work with. Okay, the big part is BC, which is x minus 1. What is the little part that corresponds to
12.
BC? 12. Do you guys see how it's in the same spot on the triangle, and that's why?
Yes.
Okay. 12 times 2 is 24 equals x minus 1. Add 1 to both sides. 25 equals x. Any questions? Do you want to try the last one? I think we have some struggles with this one, so let's do one more.
Yeah, I don't have rooms.
Yeah, me either.
Well, the back paper is totally blank, so you can switch it over. All right, it's going to disappear, unfortunately, because it's a dumb program. Okay. Okay, 12 times 2 is how I got 24. Okay, I'm going to move this over to here. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's look at this again. I'm going to look at, hi, teaching over here. I'm going to look at the parallelogram,
Parallelogram.
ABCD. What side of ABCD has no letter to it?
80.
A to B, 18. Okay, let's look at QRTS. What side corresponds with 18? QT? Okay, so we're going to say 18 over 8 is our scale factor. That reduces to 9 over 4. Oh, feel okay about that so far?
I had a 4.